What's up, everybody? I just had to walk to the store to get me some water. Ran out of water. You know, you got to stay hydrated when you're a savage like me. But anyways, I forgot to mention at the beginning, please like the video, drop a like for me. If you stay to the end, comment, let me know what you disagree with, what you agree with. Let me know if I'm sounding, sane or insane. All feedback appreciated. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're old, please subscribe again if you could. And yeah, awesome. Enjoy the video, y'all. Probably take this out. So, how's everybody doing? I wanted to take a minute and talk about cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency is why I started my YouTube channel in the first place, and my 13,500 subscribers mostly were subscribing because I was posting about cryptocurrency. And so I did want to talk about why I probably won't be making videos about crypto, and also why I am really not into crypto as I was last year around this time. So I guess I'll start by talking about decentralization and centralization. So one of the big reasons I got into cryptocurrency in the beginning was because of Chainlink. Actually, that's my first investment I made. And I had a friend who had a brother who was really into this stuff, and he talked about Chainlink, and it interested me. Smart contracts, I hadn't heard of the concept really. I did some research, and I mean, smart contracts as a concept, especially as a product with Chainlink, is ridiculously undervalued. It's 100% part of the future of finance, and not just finance, but transactions in general. Digital transactions, which is the direction we're headed, worldwide. Everything's going to be digital. All transactions will be digital. They'll all be monitored, and to facilitate that effectively so there's not people getting screwed and there's no scams, safest way to facilitate that is going to be through smart contracts. That's why I got into crypto, but it quickly became a different beast altogether when I started to look into other cryptos and what they were about. Up until that point, I had heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and of course everyone remembers the legendary run up to 29,000. And I didn't ever really research. I didn't do any research as to why. I just assumed, it's, a different form of money. But doing the research, and damn, my arms are looking mighty big. Anyways, I just filmed my calisthenics video earlier today, so I'll probably be editing a little bit of that tonight and putting it out tomorrow. But yeah, doing the research on crypto, decentralization's needed, and the idea behind Bitcoin is it's a decentralized form of value, I guess. A lot of people want it to be money. I don't really think Bitcoin would ever be money per se, but the decentralization aspect makes it really sound, and the fact that the government wouldn't be regulating it, and the fact that people wouldn't be having their transactions monitored and tracked, it's very appealing. I think that's a huge part of being a free individual, being in charge of one's own finances and being able to manage that in a way that's free of government intervention and tracking. It's a huge privacy, a huge thing of privacy really, to be able to be in charge and hold money where you want to hold it without anyone knowing about it. I mean, why should people have access to that? If you have money, if you have value stored away, you should be in charge of that. You should be able to disclose that at your own will. It's yours. And I'm fully behind that. So I got into, Bitcoin, got into Ethereum, and most recently, I think Cardano became my favorite blockchain just because of the stake, proof of stake that it operates on, and the potential it really has uh, to be like this amazing financial ecosystem where people operate peer to peer. It's free, it's permissionless, and I really think Cardano is amazing. But here's where things get different. So it started maybe like late summer when the NFTs started popping off, and quickly realized with like the push from Solana that these things, since they're not super giants yet, they can be easily manipulated. And started watching the amount of money that venture capitals were pushing into these blockchains, their ecosystems, in the form of NFTs. And pretty quickly, I mean, even connecting the dots outside of that, the links to JP Morgan and the United States government with Ethereum, USDC, and the rise of the CBDCs, the talks of those with the digital yuan, and now the United States currently is talking about CBDCs. And even without the CBDC aspect, the fact that the government has regulated crypto now, it's being taxed. I filed my taxes, and when you so this is like a super easy concept. I don't understand why people aren't talking about it more. Currently on the fiat system that we have, the US dollar, and what it is, it's the petrodollar. So the buying and selling of oil is done with the use of the dollar, right? And that's what makes the dollar so strong. That's what's allowed the United States to turn into a consumer country, consumer nation that really doesn't export the same it imports. We consume far more. And it's inevitable that the dollar will fall. And when that happens, since all other fiats are based off the value of the dollar, all fiat will fall. Everything will flatline, everything will go to zero. And the transition from that old world economy to the new world economy is going to be the rise of the central bank digital currencies. And so what I think a lot of people fail to talk about when they're in the crypto space is, how do you buy Bitcoin and keep it anonymous? Now there are ways, but not everyone has access to that. So the easiest way, and the way that's being promoted by the mainstream media now, they've picked this up, celebrities, politicians, you name it, they're all on board with this push for Bitcoin, push for Ethereum. And how do people, regular everyday people, have access to these cryptocurrencies? Through centralized exchanges such as Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, even though they're not really able to be regulated by the United States, Kraken. So you have to go through one of these centralized exchanges, which automatically destroys any decentralization that has been had on the blockchain itself. The true nature of the blockchain being decentralized, it's destroyed when the only way you can purchase these assets is through a centralized source that is 100% regulated and controlled by the government, the federal government, the United States government, whatever, Chinese government, the EU, whoever is regulating. They're now taxing these things. So when you input all your buys and sells from, let's say, Coinbase, when I was doing my taxes, I input that information. They had access to all my buys and sells and every transaction and every wallet linked to that. And you do that from multiple, my Binance, I entered that too. You do that from multiple, and then they get a deep view into all your wallets, all your holdings, what's in each wallet, what other wallets are you transacting with, and so immediately everything went from completely anonymous on these decentralized blockchains to completely unanonymous. So they now know everyone's wallets, what's in them, who they're transacting with. So everything, all privacy was lost. If you filed your taxes and you claimed that you had been buying and selling cryptocurrency or sold an NFT, it's all gone. All of that anonymity that we had, all that freedom that we had in regards to decentralization, it's all now open source, public ledger, and the government has access to all that information. So like one of the biggest selling points when it comes to decentralized cryptocurrencies and decentralized blockchains, it's now null and void. It doesn't make any sense anymore. And it's basically against the true nature of what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a way for people to kind of get around the federal government's overreach into personal finance and give back some of that freedom to the people who chose to use these blockchains. And I have a big issue with that. And so therefore, you think about today's banks, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo. These all will be things of the past and will be transitioning because all of those will die off with the current financial system we have that is fueled and run by the petrodollar's value. When that all flatlines, we'll be transitioning to central bank digital currency, which is going to be on the blockchain with smart contracts, and pretty much every transaction you make will be 100% monitored and controlled by the government. And this all ties into the World Economic Forum with Klaus Schwab and their idea of what they want for the future of the world, which they've publicly given their idea of what they want things to be, which is you will own nothing, you will be happy. So we're going to transition from fake money, which we already use, which does function pretty well right now because it's the world we live in. It functions as it's supposed to. But we'll be transitioning from what some people, especially in the Doge community, call fake money to something much worse. That's even faker, that you will get for free. So there will be no work involved in you getting payment. You'll be on universal basic income given to you by the government, and the government will dictate what you can and can't spend your money on. And this all ties into the carbon credit system as well, that corporations basically already run on. It's a carbon credit system. It's a social credit system and score for corporations. So like if they don't adhere to the rules of that carbon credit system, they get blacklisted or they get penalties on their corporations. And this will be implemented into everyone's life, not just corporations. So think about 10 years from now, they'll be monitoring the amount of carbon credits you have. They'll give you a specific amount of carbon credits, and once you've used your amount for the month, you won't be able to use any more. So say you accidentally driven a little bit more than what you normally do in the month. Oops, you're out of carbon credits, but you got to wake up in the morning and go to work. Well, you've already spent all your carbon credits, so you're not going to get to work. This is going to affect your social score, which is going to in turn probably set you up to not be able to do more things. And hey, listen, I know this stuff has for a long time sounded like complete garbage and complete, tinfoil hat crap to a lot of people. But unfortunately, this stuff has been in the works for quite a while. The information is public. It's out there. You can go find it if you really want to. I know most people, they'd rather have, a comfortable lie than an uncomfortable truth. And that's just the fact. People want to live their life in a comfortable lie, asleep at the helm, rather than face the uncomfortable truths. And these are just the uncomfortable truths. And unfortunately, they've somehow figured out to social engineer people to be okay with these things subconsciously. I think a lot of people are not really awake, a lot of people are not aware to these things going on, but when the government is in control of every aspect of your life because they dictate what you can and can't buy, and if you go outside their sphere of what's acceptable and what's not, they'll shut you down, they'll freeze your assets, they won't allow you to buy or sell. I don't know if people are ready for that. And I don't think a lot of people really think that that's going to happen or is a possibility. But the technology and the framework has already been built. I'm telling you that right now. It's being talked about right now. When you hear anything about CBDC, central bank digital currency, that is what we will be transitioning to when the dollar flatlines. The value of the dollar and every fiat currency around the entire world will flatline, go to zero. It will be an economic collapse. And the solution to that will be CBDC. Now, they might try and transition people to that CBDC before the collapse of the dollar, or they might present it as a solution after. But this technology exists, the framework is built, and as far as the intentions and the plans of the World Economic Forum to see this through to the end and make it a reality, I don't think they're messing around. I mean, this is a group of some of the richest, most powerful and connected people in the world who have publicly stated their intentions, and they've infiltrated world governments to the point where they're pushing their ideals and their narratives so that people just have to go along with it. And I truly believe that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano are somewhat of a transit, what's it called? The right word. Can't think of the right word. A conduit. They're a conduit. See, they're such great ideas. You understand why people are all for this decentralized store of value. You can store your value in the face of economic turbulence, and it's decentralized, it's safe, it's secure, no one can corrupt it. All these things, they sound really good, and so it's brought people in by the masses. People are flocking to it. That's why it's blown up. It's 40,000. It was at 69,000. That's why people have, by the millions, bought into this. And so it's just a primer. It's getting people ready to transition to that digital form of money, that digital form of currency. And unfortunately, it's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be Ethereum. It's not going to be Cardano. What it will be is CBDC. And maybe there will be some form of Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, but it's not decentralized at the end of the day, when the only way you can change that value back into a spendable asset is through a centralized exchange. Those are the new banks. The centralized exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, Kraken, Gemini, those are the new banks. Those are going to replace the old banks, the JP Morgans, the Chase, the Wells Fargo, all of those guys. So that's my explanation of why I'm not super into crypto anymore. Like I said, I hold some NFTs on the Cardano blockchain. I think the community that I hold, the Thread World CNFT, if you want to check it out, they're pretty cool. They're cool guys. I like the project. I think it's great. I want to sell off most of my NFTs, keep the other ones as just some mementos of, like, I've been there, I've done that, and I'll stay in touch with them. But overall, I see where it's going. The digitization of everything and the inevitable tracking of all transactions, buying and selling, the ability to implement a social credit system, probably based around carbon credits, and I think it's inevitable, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean I have to subscribe. And I might change my mind. You know, what's the point of holding your money in the dollar? It's a sinking ship, you know? What is the point of that? And there really is no point, but there's really not any better option. Potentially, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano take off, they skyrocket, and for a brief moment in time, you have a significantly larger value because you've placed your assets in that. But I think that that will be a short-lived experience as well. And, you know, to pull out your money, it's going to be difficult because the banks are going to ask questions. And on top of that, you'll get taxed. The rate of inflation, you know, you're turning your crypto back into dollars. It's just, at this point, I don't really, moving forward, I don't see it getting any better no matter what you do. And for that reason, I've chose to like kind of unsubscribe. I don't watch the charts anymore. I occasionally look at the prices just to see what's going on. But yeah, that pretty much explains why I've chosen to unsubscribe from crypto, and it was really hopeful for a while, but I've just done more research now, and I've seen things happen over the past 6 months that really, it just is the nail in the coffin when it comes to the narrative of the World Economic Forum and the changing world economic order for me. I mean, that's pretty much it. So, alright, whatever. Maybe you'll watch, maybe you won't. If you liked, please like the video, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. I'd like to hear it. I'd like to discuss it a little bit more, but from my perspective and what I've seen, it's big money playing everyone to build up something and get people involved in something that's the primer for the new economic order that's going to be completely centralized, completely trackable, completely controlled. And yeah, all right, peace.